Today we talk about success, especially the next success. Success is extremely difficult, but the next success is the most difficult. Therefore, those who succeed are doomed to fail. Whether it is a person or an organization, it is accidental that the foundation will last forever. The next success is the most difficult, because success refers to the successful people chosen by the environment. The problem is that the environment will change, and the successful people are almost destined to not keep up with the changes in the environment. They over-optimize to the previous environment. Let's talk about the environment first. Why choose a certain winner? In hindsight, it is always because the winner best adapts to the environment. Grove's principles versus job subversion. Experience the top business wisdom 20 years ago from Intel's legendary President Grove. In his famous book, Only the Paranoid Survive, he said that in order to stand out in that era, you must do the following 3 things. Don't pursue differentiation. Don't think about building better computers. On the way to better computers, the corpses of martyrs are everywhere. Rush, rush, rush. Say the important thing 3 times. First mover advantage is crucial, and profit belongs to and only belongs to the first mover. Estimate the lowest feasible selling price for a product based on mass production, and the rest is to reduce the cost to match it. In a word, the cost of shopping. It was the most adaptable business strategy of the era. Grove said that after the strategic inflection point of IT enterprises from vertical integration to horizontal integration, the above 3 principles must be relied on to win the market. The so-called vertical integration is that a company produces and provides everything, from hardware to software to services, all of which are owned. The so-called horizontal integration is that a company only produces what it is best at, and the integration is handed over to the market. The former was represented by IBM at the time, and the latter was represented by Intel and Microsoft. The Wintel alliance in the golden age of personal computers. At the time, of course, Grove was right. He applies these 3 principles to the analysis of Jobs, who left Apple. Jobs made the mistake of pursuing differentiation, vertical integration, and high cost. There is no doubt that Steve Jobs is the genius who created the personal computer industry. However, Grove finally commented. However, Grove was soon wrong. The year after the book was published, Jobs returned to Apple on the verge of bankruptcy. This is the beginning of Apple's business epic from $3 billion to today's $1 trillion market value. In 1997, Jobs put forward the slogan, "Think different, think different. I just want to differentiate." From then on, one by one, the Grove principles were falsified. Grove said, "Do not differentiate." Jobs ignored, "Think different." Grove said, "First eat meat, after the hare to eat ash." Jobs ignored, "Prefer to enter the cooked to rotten market, into I to subvert A." The shelf life of business intelligence is too short. Successful people adapt to the environment, but the environment will change, and how it will change is unpredictable. Success paradoxes and solutions. No matter then or now, no matter when and where, only go all out to be successful, which requires you to leave no room. GE General Electric Company S6 Zygama Plaza Management Principles of the Year. And today's entrepreneurs who leave no way out are good entrepreneurs. All point to the same strategy, ideologically. We should go all out, and there should be no room for operation. Doing this does not guarantee success, but all successful people must do so. However, it also sows the seeds of future failure. You must try your best to adapt to the environment, but you cannot adjust when the environment changes. In other words, it is clearer. If the model trained with data overfits the sample data, it is less applicable to the out of sample data. That is, it has no predictive ability for the future. If you don't try your best to adapt to the current environment, you can't succeed. But if you try your best to adapt to the current environment, you will inevitably fail in environmental changes. This is the paradox of success. How Toto, the first way is to get rid of environmental constraints. Not just adapt to the environment, but in turn affect and even dominate the environment. It is true that not everyone passively adapts to the environment at all times. And very few companies and people can in turn affect the environment, occasionally injecting heroes into the normal of the times. But such times are rare and impossible to last. People can't get rich for more than 3 generations, especially organizations. Because negative feedback rules the world, and extremes must return. Sometimes you live and sometimes you die. Sometimes you plant and sometimes you cut down. Sometimes you build and sometimes you tear down. Positive feedback occurs occasionally and cannot last long, otherwise the tree will grow to the sky. The second approach is to create a learning personality and organization that changes in response to the environment and becomes the basic characteristics of the organization and its members. It sounds beautiful, but the reason why optimizing to the current environment is so hard is because it makes sense. You succeed based on it, your customers ask you to continue. And your employee capabilities, organizational form, and values are all built based on it. Sailing and repairing boats in the middle of a storm, say yes, how many have been done? So, as Harvard Business School professor Christensen says in his famous book The Innovator's Dilemma, the best are almost doomed to fail because they are good. They listen to customer needs, optimize management processes, chase the latest sustaining technologies, and reject disruptive technologies. Every step of the way is the best choice in a rational current environment. Until the environment changes dramatically and disaster strikes. Break up the organization and let success grow. The innovator's paradox that Christensen mentioned is actually the application of the winner's paradox at the level of technological change. The main points are as follows. Successful companies optimize products and processes for existing customers, invest in continuous technology, and have no interest in disruptive technology because customers are not interested. Even if the company leader values disruptive technology, it doesn't help. Because the organization's resource allocation is determined by the process. And the process will always take resources away from the disruptive technology and put them on the continuous technology side, and the customer asks the organization to do so. Optimizing processes in response to customer needs and continuously investing in continuous technology are characteristics of excellent organizations because of their ability to optimize to existing value networks. Failure and iterative learning are the essence of disruptive technology. Excellent companies cannot and should not tolerate failure in continuous technology. So it is difficult to accept failure in disruptive technology. Therefore, it is not through better management, harder work, and fewer mistakes that organizational decline can be avoided. How Toto Christensen gives the solution. If decision makers want to invest in disruptive technology, they should go against the usual practice. Instead of twisting the bull's head, they fantasize that existing markets and existing organizations can adapt to disruptive technology because it is impossible. No matter how much attention the decision maker pays, it will not be done. Customers will not accept it, and corporate processes will not accept it. The only way is to find a market and organization that matches the disruptive technology. It must be actively separated, separating the cash flow business from the business brought by the disruptive technology, and fully empowering the latter to operate independently. Don't fantasize about transforming the culture of the organization. What you may do is to transform the structure of the organization. Don't pursue the synergy between the old and the new, because the synergy is an illusion, and the internal friction is reality. Exploring the unknown world and reclaiming the known world cannot be the same people, cannot use the same set of logic, and cannot be constrained by the same set of standards. Obviously, the division of labor between exploration and reclamation is much better done by letting the market do it than by doing it within the organization. This is also why the vast majority of new winners come from outside the market, not from within the last winner. The market takes all things as a humble dog and has no nostalgia for the old. If successful organizations want to continue to be successful, they must learn from the market and act like it. The resources brought by the last success, talent, corporate culture, and financial resources. Among these, financial resources should be sufficient, and the others should be cut as much as possible. The new returns to the new, and the old returns to the old. Culture is rigid, and the space that people can adjust is limited. Only money is the most plastic. Easier said than done, so Tencent was able to grow WeChat after QQ, which is worth paying tribute to again and again. Leaders of all organizations should learn how Pony Ma treated Zhang Zhaolong. Buffett said that the only thing he is best at is capital allocation. And he can take money from cash flow and invest it in the next transaction or company. Buffett is kind-hearted, but really ruthless. How many Buffett are there in the world? Those very few companies with long-standing foundations whose leaders will say that the most important job is the allocation of financial resources. Their job is no different from Buffett's. Okay, so all of the above is about how successful people can continue to be successful. So what are the implications for those who haven't been successful yet? If you want to be the next successful person, the shortest way is to do things that current successful people think are meaningless. Things that they know what you're doing but have no interest in coming to strangle you. Until one day, when they really want to strangle you, it's too late, and it's your turn to strangle them. How do you succeed? All of the above is from an organizational perspective. So what are the implications for individuals? 3 inspirations. Always be wary of over-optimizing yourself to the current environment. Vigilance is vigilance, and doing things is doing things. You must concentrate on the direction you have chosen, go all out, and adapt to the environment you have chosen as much as possible. Because only then will you have the possibility of success. Others do not fight to rabbits. You are half-hearted. You want to succeed is a dream. If you are lucky enough to succeed, your human capital will be converted into financial capital, and then you use financial capital to diversify. Human capital is rigid. It takes twice as much effort to adjust, and no one is as flexible as they want to be. Your human capital is better off continuing to embrace wholeheartedly the direction you choose. Your financial capital, that is, money, is truly fungible. It has no historical baggage, and it can be used to meet the challenges of environmental change with less effort. Summary of this lecture. To sum up, the question we are discussing today is, what can successful people do to ensure continued success? If you want to be the next successful person, the shortest way is to do what the current successful person thinks is meaningless. And the inspiration for individuals is to concentrate on doing things, be self-vigilant, and pay attention to financial investment. Today's perspective is inspired by Harvard Business School professor Christensen's famous book, The Innovator's Dilemma. Thinking Today. Today's question is for you personally. Is there anything in your industry that you think has opportunity, value, and worth doing, but that the industry leaders think doesn't make sense? Welcome to write the answer in the comment area at the bottom of the manuscript, and we will discuss it together. Tomorrow, we will continue cognitive training, and tomorrow's topic is also a hot topic at the moment, talking about big data subverting the public interest.